Hi Stampers, I'm Nancy from Stampin'shout.com. Welcome, welcome. Well, this week I have 5 cards and 5 videos using stencils. So if you've never used stencils before, you really want to check this out. I was so surprised. I've never used them before, and it's really amazing how these little inexpensive stencils and a little ink and cardstock, and that's it, make gorgeous cards. So we're going to start off the week with making a summer card because after all, it still is summer. And then we're going to do a beautiful sunflower card. And it might be my favorite, but I don't know. I can't say yet. They're all beautiful. But then we're going to stencil a autumn card with some leaves. And then we're going to stencil a Christmas card with snowflakes. And we're going to end up on Friday with a fabulous fun card. So make sure you're subscribed, but make sure you click the notification bell so it will tell you whenever I'm doing a new video. So it'll give you a little alert right before I go live. And make sure you invite a friend because crafting is so much more fun with friends. So let's make a card. Hi Stampers. So yep, this week we are going to do stenciling. We're going to make 5 cards every day at noon. So don't forget to be here and share with your friends. Make sure they're here too. But before we get started, I want to announce last week's winners for commenting. So last week's winners for card 1, that's Janet Muir. The stationery, cards 2, Karen Halterman. Day 3 was the fractured card, and that's for Diane Scroggs. And then we embossed this card, that's for Kathy Burns. And then our pretty little fun fold where we colored the stamps, that's for Lisa Mastas. So make sure you email me your address and I will mail them out to you. And my email is stampin'shout@gmail.com. So thank you for commenting. This is for United States only, just in case I announce someone that's from out of the country, just let me know. And thanks for your comments, so I appreciate it. So stenciling, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. So I'm using Stampin' Up's Abundant Beauty stencils. And I've never done this before. And I think you're going to be surprised because I was. And oh my gosh. So we got 4 different stencils. This is the geometric pattern. I don't know if that's like a herringbone or something like that. And then we have leaves. And we have snowflakes. And then we have these 4 dies, or these 4 stencils, are for the sunflower. So we're going to do the sunflower tomorrow. And if you've seen it, you got to watch me because it's going to be really, really easy. So I'm going to give you lots of tips and tricks. It's not that hard. And I'm excited. I really, really love these cards. So let me bring in today's card. We're going to use the little geometric pattern stencil. And I'm just keeping all of these in a little folder. And here are today's supplies, but here's today's card. So today we're going to do a summer card because after all, it is still summer. And I take a walk a couple times a day. And I've been seeing a lot of these flowers out right now. So they must pop out in August. I believe they're called Black Eye Susans or something like that. You can let me know whatever they're called, but they are so pretty. They look like a wildflower. But anyways, they're this pretty yellow with the black center. So, and there's our geometric design. So we're going to do this in Tahitian Tide. I thought that'd be a fun summer color. So Tahitian Tide with a white inside, white front. I've already ran that through the exposed brick embossing folder to give it texture. And then we have a matte piece and a white piece. That's going to be our stamping piece. And then the black is going to be for our sentiment. We're going to do a little bit of embossing. So we're going to start off with this easy stencil first. I'm going to bring in a scrap sheet. And we're going to stamp on this smaller piece. So I'm going to tape this down first with a little washi tape. I'm going to put my cardstock underneath it. So I can use my grid lines here on my table to make sure that it's straight. So I have this area right here that's already straight. And I'm going to lay my stencil down here so it's straight. And I'm going to put this in the middle because I want it to be all over. I don't want it near the edge. So I'm going to put the stencil at the bottom and I'm going to tape it with some washi tape. You can use painter's tape. Sticky notes will probably work, but washi tape is just fine. So I got some washi tape here. I'm just going to break it into like 4 pieces. So all the stencils are a little bit different. There's a couple of different tricks with each one. So watch all week, and I think you'll find out how easy it is to use. You know what else is cool about these stencils is they're very inexpensive. I think they're $10.50 for this set, which is so cheap. And then all you got to do is add ink and cardstock, and that's it. So not a lot of supplies. And of course, if you want to add any accents like, ribbon or embellishments, which we're going to do this week, that's about it. So it's pretty cool to use, and they're really easy to clean up. So really cool. And I just can't believe how pretty the cards are. So I'm going to bring in Tahitian Tide, and then I'm also using the blender brushes. So these are little brushes, and they blend the ink beautifully. And they come in a set of 5, and they come with little stickers, so you can actually put a sticker on there for the color. But they work really, really well. You can use sponge daubers if you want, but it's a bigger area, so I'm going to use the little brush. And I'm going to bring in an ink block, and I'm just going to put some ink right on the block, so I'm sure you can see that. And then I'm just going to start swirling here. So I'm going to take my brush and pick up some ink, and then I'm going to start swirling. I'm going to start at the edge. Usually that's the darkest. And it just takes a little bit of time to go over this little area. I can see where my card is underneath there. So that's our piece. So it's going to make a really pretty backdrop for our card. So now we're going to do a little stamping. And what's nice about the stencils is, of course, they can go with any of your stamp sets that you already have. So I am going to use Sending Smiles for today's card. And it also comes with dies. This is not all the dies. I've already got some taken out. But I like to do this when I get my dies. I take a copy of it, and that's exactly how they were positioned when I got it. So I can, when I put it away, I can go ahead and look at this and put them exactly where they go, so I know it's all going to fit. But all the dies that I'm using for this week's card, I went ahead and I put them in this little magnetic tray. I actually bought this for my husband for tools, but I snatched it away and I'm using it in my craft room. So I'm going to bring in a big block, and I'm going to lay down the stamps that we're going to use. And those are the flower stamps we're going to use. And then I have a leaf stamp I'm going to use. So let me put that on a block. Okay, so I have to bring in Daffodil Delight. So we're going to stamp our flowers in Daffodil Delight. Now I just put these all on one block just so I can stamp them all at one time. Pretty. And then the stem I'm going to stamp in Old Olive. And then I'm going to do the centers using Memento Black. So I got those 3 little teeny tiny stamps, and those are going to be the center of each of these flowers. So now I'm going to show you how the dies fit on here, just like that. And this one goes with this one. So this one, you might think it's hard to line up, but it's not. There's a little grouping right there, and I know that goes with the little grouping right there. Then I have the big flower. That goes just like that. And then I have the stem and leaf. And now I'm going to cut that out with the Big Shot. So I have my pieces all cut out. And we can put our card together now. We have a little of embossing to do, a heat embossing for a sentiment, but I'm going to put the rest of the card together first. So I'm going to put the stenciled piece with the matte piece. I'm going to glue those two together. I'm going to go ahead and glue the embossed piece to the front of the card, and then I'm going to glue this to the front of the card, and then we're going to attach our flowers. Okay, so now for the flowers, I'm going to glue the stem on, and then I'm going to pop up the flowers with dimensionals. Sometimes you see me go off camera with my arm, and what I'm doing is after I glue something, I kind of touch it to my silicone mat just so that glue doesn't squish out. It goes on that silicone mat. And I'm using the Pick-a tool, one of the tips from the Pick-a tool, to take off my dimensional backing. So we're going to position our flowers just like that. So we're going to bring in a scrap of black for our sentiment because we're going to do some embossing. So I have my little embossing tool here, which comes with the tray and the little embossing buddy, which helps with the static, and it helps the powder stay where it should and where it shouldn't be. And it comes with the little handle, little gripper there, so you don't burn your fingers, and it comes with the brush. So let's ink this up. So I'm going to cut this out with one of the dies that comes with the Sending Smiles die set. So I'm going to cut that out. So that's all cut out. I think I said earlier that I was going to cut it out with my Big Shot. Well, that is just old habit. I've been doing this for 9 years. So I always call my cutting machine the Big Shot. I think it's always going to be the Big Shot. So I'm going to pop this little sentiment up with the mini Stampin' Dimensionals. If you don't have the minis, you could cut a big one in half. But I just love the little minis because they work well on these little tiny cutouts. Okay, now I need to add a bow. Before I do that, I'm going to stamp the inside a little bit. So I'm going to bring back in my Daffodil Delight, and I'm going to stamp a flower. So I've got Old Olive too for the leaf, and we're just going to do something down here in the bottom corner here. And then we'll bring in the large flower. And we'll stamp the center with the black. That is very, very pretty. So I am going to glue the inside piece, and then I'll be back and I'll show you how to tie a bow with your fingers. I'll do that on camera with you. Okay, so that all we got to do now is add the bow, and I'll show you how to do that. We'll tie it on our fingers. So I'm going to use the black and white gingham, and I'm going to use about 12 inches here. And I'm just going to start like this. So I'm going to start with about, was that 2 inches, inch and a half off. Take my 2 fingers, going to wrap around the back and come forward. And then I'm going to take and cross over and bring this up between my 2 fingers. And now there's a loop there, and I'm just going to take the part that just came between my fingers and put it under that loop. And then I'm just going to pull towards me. Pull it real tight. And then I'm just going to slide it off. And I cut way too much ribbon to start, right? 12 inches. But if you cut it too short, it's hard to wrap it around your fingers. So I'm just going to angle it and angle it. And then I'm going to bring in my glue dots and tell you a little bit about tomorrow's card. So tomorrow's card is going to be a seasonal sunflower card, and it's so pretty. The way the stencils are set up is not how we're going to do it. We're going to be a little fancier and add a little bit more. So I'm excited to share that with you. So make sure you come on back tomorrow. I'll be here at noon. So that's today's stencil card. We used the graphic stencil to create our background. Tomorrow I'm going to show you the sunflower stencil, and oh my gosh, you guys are going to love it. It's gorgeous. I don't want to say it's my favorite because you got to see all the cards this week and decide for yourself because they're all beautiful. Don't forget to comment. All comments for United States commenters will be entered to win today's card. And don't forget to share with your friends, invite your friends because it's more fun to craft together. And I'll be back tomorrow. Don't be shy. Stamp and shout.